Hi everybody, thank you so much for joining me. So today, this video is going to serve as my introduction to my Depot and Declutter series that I'm starting here. That way I don't repeat the reason behind everything in each declutter video. I'm going to put these all into a playlist so that you can see them back to back if you like that. And that way it kind of keeps me from rambling in all of these subsequent individual product Depot and Declutter videos, because you guys know I love to ramble. I just cannot help it. I'm working on it. But anyway, today's video is all about the reason behind why I wanted to do this. So I see a lot of people doing decluttering, and I always love to watch those because I love to see what worked for people and what didn't, and why they would get rid of something. Now, I notice a lot in YouTube that so many of the beauty vloggers have huge collections of the most amazing makeup, and everything is displayed very nicely, and it's pretty, and it just makes you want to buy things. But at the same time, every time that I see it, I always think to myself, like, holy crap, there's like an entire 2 drawers full of packaged compact blushes or highlights or whatever it is. And I'm just like, how on earth are they seeing everything that they have and using it? You just know that it's not happening. Most of beauty vloggers, or even people that just have a large makeup collection, they're not using everything that they have because they can't possibly see it all and have the time to go through it all every single day and try to use everything. And that is no judgment or condemnation against them, because I am exactly the same way. I have so many products that just sit in their packaging, and oftentimes I'm just like, oh wow, look at my collection, it's really amazing. I know that's really vain, but that's what I do. I just, like, it brings me peace to look at that stuff, and just kind of like, it's kind of like my meditation, you know, just like, look at all these things that I can create with. However, if you're not using all of those things, what good is it even really doing you? So what I wanted to do is just start depotting everything that I possibly could, especially the larger products like face products, because I just wasn't using enough of it. And I had to make the choice of, is it better to have all of these things to look at, or is it better to have the actual products in front of me every single time that I go to do my makeup, so that I have an array of things that I can choose from right in my face without having to open a drawer or look in a bag or go across the room and find it, because mine is not stored in a nice beauty room or anything. I'm traveling all the time, so mine is in several bags and cases, and it's just getting a little too much to handle with trying to use everything, but also trying to keep everything organized. I love to see other beauty vloggers' collections, and I love to see it all laid out nicely in a beauty room. It's just, that's something that's not working for me anymore. And even once we get done truck driving and we settle down at home for good, and I have a beauty room that I can go into every single day instead of only once in a while, I still just don't think that that kind of makeup collecting within the packaging and stuff is something that I would want to start back up again now that I've started this journey of depotting everything. I just feel so much better about my collection now. Like today, whenever I was getting ready to sit down and film this and I'm putting on my makeup, I opened up one of my palettes that has blushes in it, and I just thought, wow, I can see, you know, a good majority of the blushes all in this one palette, and I can really, you know, kind of like hold it up and be like, which one do I want to put on today? I just love that. It made me feel so good inside that I could finally use some of the things that I have not used ever since I bought them. Again, no shade or condemnation against people that have large collections of the individual items and stuff. I think it's really pretty to look at, but I want to be able to see my things and use them, as opposed to see them but never use them. It's kind of like someone who has a closet full of 200 shoes but you only wear your favorite 3 pairs. What's the point? You know, like it's something to look at, but it's not something that you're using. And I want to get away from that kind of mentality of, oh, I have all these pretty things to look at. It's like the habit of acquiring things without really any intention of how you're going to use them. So I feel like that can kind of apply to a lot of things in our lives, but I mean, I'm not going to stop buying makeup. I'm not going to stop buying bags because I love those also. I'm not going to stop doing those things, but I think that I can make an effort to use those things more efficiently in my everyday life. So that's what this is all about. And I think I'm done rambling about that. Let's get into how I'm going to be doing this. So first off, I looked up several methods on how to depot without using like open flame. I really was not down with that because I am a complete klutz and I would probably burn all my hair off and probably a whole thumb. Now, probably my favorite method that I found is the flossing between the pans method. And I found a couple videos on it. I will link both of them down below. I felt that they both explained it very well. So those will be down below for you. But basically what you need is just some floss, any floss. I like the Glide ones though because it's just a little bit slicker than like a traditional kind of floss. Then you just need some straight pins. I don't use these all the time, but sometimes you will need them. And then in addition to the pins, I like to use this little dental implement. I know it's kind of weird, but stay with me on this. It comes in this oral care kit. You can get it at Walmart or Target or wherever. And because it is curved and it has a teeny tiny little point on the end of it, you can really get in there. Pretend this is a pan of stuff, a pan of eyeshadow. You can get into the corner of it right there and then kind of crook it around so that you can get underneath the pan at the same time, whereas the straight pins cannot do that. Do you find that this is much easier to use for getting the floss in between the sides of the pan? And then you can use the straight pins just to hold the floss in place while you're going around your pan. But this I would highly, highly recommend you pick up if you're going to be doing any depotting, because this has been a lifesaver. I could explain it to you, but I feel like the videos would be a lot easier for you to understand and visually see instead of me just kind of miming what you're supposed to do. But that is a really good method, and I try that with everything that I go to depot. And if you can get it out that way, great. If you can't get it out that way and it's a little bit too hard, or you break your floss, which did happen with some of the Milani products, then you move on to method 2, which is dissolving the glue with alcohol. Now for that you need like a little eyedropper, or I have this little like syringe type of thingy without a needle on it. And then you need alcohol. Anything above 90%, then you just need a depotting spatula. I got this one from Z Palette, or any sort of small implement like this. You could use like a butter knife, but I feel like it's a little bit too big and clumsy for a lot of things. So this one has 2 ends on it. It has a little pointy one and then a little rounded one. So that's what I use for those. And I will also link a video down below for that. Basically, you just take your syringe and put it around the pan, anywhere where there's some space between the pan and the packaging. You put a little alcohol, let it sit for a little while, and then you just take your spatula or butter knife, whatever you're going to use, and just kind of start wiggling the pan out. Now, in the event that that does not work, and you're really in the weeds, you can use the flat iron method, which is the only heat method that I would suggest using. And you just heat your flat iron up and then just put some parchment paper or a regular piece of paper. That's what I used because I didn't have parchment paper. You could also use nonstick foil. I use that too, and it didn't burn my fingers or anything. So whatever you've got laying around that you can use. So just pretend this is a makeup palette, just put it on your flat iron, let it sit for a couple minutes, and then again you would just take your spatula and pry it out of there. So to give you an idea, these in this box are all the things that I have depotted so far, and there's quite a bit of stuff in here. It's pretty deep. And those are mostly just face products. I have depotted just a few eyeshadows so far, and I kind of ran out of Z palettes, so I had to order more. So basically I have these 6 Z palettes right here already filled up with stuff, and then I have another 6 already on order that I am waiting on. So my depotting is on hold until I get the rest of those. Basically what I'm going to do is take you through each category of things that I have depotted and tell you what I'm keeping, what I'm getting rid of, and basically show you all of the packaging separately, how much it amounts to versus how much it amounts to in the single or couple 3 Z palettes that I depotted into. That way you can kind of see how much waste there is in keeping the packaging around versus depotting. Every single thing that I can depot, I'm depotting. Now, the only exception is eyeshadows. Basically, any singles, those are depotted. Anything in a small palette that I only like a few of the colors in, those are depotted. But the palettes that I do like and use, any of those where I can make a look out of one palette without including other colors, those I'm going to keep in their individual palettes since they are still usable in that form. But anything where I look at the palette and I'm like, I have to have other colors from a separate palette or from singles in order to complete a look that I would want to wear, those are being depotted. So for instance, I had 2 of the Urban Decay Vice palettes. I just depotted all of those last night because I didn't feel like any of them I could create a single like regular look with just the colors in each palette. So I'm depotting those, and instead of taking up 2 whole Urban Decay Vice palettes, which are quite large and bulky, they're gonna take up 1 Z palette. So that's really great. And it just creates less clutter, and I can actually use them because they're so big and bulky that I didn't really reach for them that often. So now I can have the singles available to look at and be able to actually use. Now, obviously, in doing this, there are some casualties that have occurred along the way. The majority of the cracked makeup and the ones that just kind of exploded whenever I tried to take them out, there were ones that I wasn't really that sad to see go or that I was already planning on getting rid of. But I did throw away some packaging already rather than saving it. Basically, I'm throwing away already any packaging that can't be reused, but the ones that can be reused that aren't damaged or just not a right layout to be able to use it, I'm sending all the ones that can be used to my friend who owns a boutique. Her info is down below if you'd like to check it out. She's going to upcycle all of the packaging that she can into jewelry box holders or little pill package things for your purse or something to keep, you know, like a manicure set in. The part about doing this for me is that I can get rid of all the clutter that is just surrounding my life right now with makeup. And the good part for the environment, I suppose, is that instead of just going into the garbage, the majority of this packaging is going to go on to have a second life, and someone else can appreciate it in a new form. So I think that that is really great, and I really encourage you guys, if you're going to be depotting, see what can be saved and see if there's anyone in your area that would just like a donation of something like that that they can upcycle into new things that can go on to be used by other people before it goes on to a garbage bin or anything like that. Listen, I don't want to sound like you know, too like environmentally, I mean, there's nothing wrong with that, but let's be real, I drive a semi truck. It's not the most environmentally friendly job. You know, I use like paper plates in the truck and plastic cutlery, so I'm not the most environmentally friendly person in general, but whenever there's something like this that I can enjoy doing and it can go on to have a better purpose than originally intended, I feel like that's something really great, and that makes me feel good to know that someone else can do something with it and it can go on to bigger and better things. So guys, that is kind of my overall depot and declutter, why is this happening, what am I doing type of thing. that this series will help inspire you to maybe start decluttering all of your stuff and maybe just start thinking about ways that you can use your collection and everything that you have. I know not everybody has a really large makeup collection. Even if you have a small collection of just a face powder, just one blush, just one bronzer, think about how you could take all of those things out, and instead of having them fill up your makeup bag, you could have them fill up only one Z palette. And you can still travel with this also. So that's something to keep in mind. This isn't just for people with large collections. This is for everybody, and everybody can take away something from this. So that is it, guys. I'm gonna stop rambling. Okay, look out for the first installment here. We'll probably have the same thumbnail for all of them so that you can easily spot it in your feed. Don't forget to subscribe if you don't want to miss any of these, and I will catch you guys next time. Bye. The things you do to get a thumbnail.